Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the second RC crawler competition that I have gone to. This is for February of 2021, and I was really looking forward to the event. In the days before the event, I went out and practiced a bunch with my Axial Capra. Now, there was supposed to be a specific Axial Capra class as well as a chassis class where the other competitors not running a tube chassis Capra we're going to run, because in the first event there's a bunch of Capras. So I anticipated showing up and expecting to have wider gates than the standard chassis class did, because the axial class was going to have wider gates. So I left my wheel spacers on, in addition to my 1.9 wheels have a pretty aggressive offset, and so the whole rig is really wide. Now, when I showed up, I was informed that they are not running a Capra class on this event, which was a little bit of a letdown. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and drive it anyway. So the gates are extremely tight for my truck to fit through. Also, I decided not to run my Axial Capra. Last minute, I changed over and ran my Axial Gladiator. Because it is a chassis rig, I figured it'd be more in line with what other people were using, and it'd be more fun to see how I could compare that truck to the standard chassis class. So I didn't have the practice in like I did with my Capra, as well as the Gladiator was by far the longest rig and the widest rig. So I'm going to have the hardest time making it through these gates with very little practice. Let's see how this course turns out for me. All right, so here we are right off the starting line. Got a nice little overhang climb. Watched a few people struggle on this one. You can see me kind of readjusting and barely squeezing through that first gate. I actually end up bellied up here, so I have to give it a little bump through, right into getting bellied up again. Bump it again. Right back out of my belly. Have to continue to battle that through the first section here. Now take a look at how close these gates are to my wheels and tires. I've got about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch on each side of my wheels and tires to fit through a gate. So if I don't get this thing lined up perfect, I'm going to hit gates. Right there, they moved it back onto where the gate was supposed to be and narrowing this gate. Now, it's a little hard to tell, but the camera is mounted to my controller. We're basically looking straight downhill right now. As you can see, people standing vertically behind the shot. So it's very aggressive, leaned over to the edge, so my Jeep wants to fall over and tip over right here. So trying to turn it around, the whole time the truck's trying to slide downhill, just because that's how gravity works. And yeah, really trying to get this gate clean. And I think I ended up bumping it right here. Yep, bumped it twice with both my tires. And so I need to get figured back around and start heading uphill. Now the next gate, the best line of approach for this is to follow this little rock ledge down. If you can stay on the rock ledge, you're going to clear the gate. With the way my truck was lined up, my right rear tire wanted to fall off that ledge and it was going to run into the cone. So I'm trying to get my truck reset and get the back end higher uphill, and I'm really fighting it with this Gladiator. This thing just did not want to reposition right here for me. Again, because of the angle on it, it's trying to fall off this rock. End up getting myself in a really bad spot here. Really tippy, really steep, and my truck rolls off the rock. So here I am, I just got to reset, trying to drive my truck uphill and get that back end way higher uphill than what I originally started out as. So this time around I got my tire where I wanted it and was able to quickly jump off that ledge and avoid tipping over, and as well as I cleared the gate, so it was worth it. Right here, just anxiety and bad driving combination right there. I should have driven up on top of the rock, not tried to side hill. That was an unnecessary rollover on my part. That was just bad driving. So got myself on top of the rock this time, angled my way down. Super tight fitment on this rig. And they did make all the gates pretty standard width, so they were all really close on my width of the truck here. Probably should have squared up on a little bit different angle here. End up bumping that cone, killed the gate, so I just keep driving. There we go, got a little bit of an overhang as we come up and over this. I'm gonna put the truck on its slider. The back tire clips that cone. If I was a little more careful, I probably could have cleared that one. Then we're gonna drop down right on the edge of a little drop off here with a steep vertical climb. Luckily with the wheelbase on the Gladiator, it makes these steep climbs easier. This gate was so dang narrow, man. I end up hitting it, and yeah. I don't know if there was any way I could have gotten through that gate with how it was set up and not hit it. It was the width of my truck. Now I should also point out, there is a time limit on these courses. In the last event, when we first started, we were planning on doing a timed event where if you didn't finish in time, you got a DNF. And then they decided to remove the time limit on the first competition I went to that I made a couple videos on. On this competition run by the same guys, they brought the time limit back, and then they enforced it this time. If you didn't finish in 6 minutes, then you were going to get 30 points added to your score. And right now I'm closing in on that 6 minute gap. I believe this is gate number 9. There are 11 gates. So gate number 9 here, trying to go uphill on an angle. Barely squeezed through. I actually end up getting through that one clean. Now I've got to head over to this extremely tough side hill challenge.
It's a labor of love, you know.
Just replacing that cone where it was supposed to be. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to approach this with my Gladiator, because it's not exactly a low center of gravity. It's a wide truck and it's fairly heavy. So I'm trying to get it put where I need to go. My approach here was to try and back up and put it down into where I needed to go. But the back end was sliding downhill a little too quick and I couldn't get it to steer around fast enough.
You can jump the gate if you want.
So just struggling with trying to figure out my approach here.
You got one more gate over the hill. Oh, crap.
And man, a big fall there. It's never fun to see your rig fall that far and that hard. As I slipped myself on my way down. I'm a little frustrated at this point. Set my rig back up. I know I'm running low on time, and that's the end of run number 1. Alright guys, now we're going to move on to stage 2, take a look at how I approach things a little bit different, as well as try and get this course done in the time limit necessary. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Are you ready? Yeah, let's roll.
Taking off, gate 1, hard left into this little bowled out vertical climb. The gate's nice and wide for this one, not too difficult to get through. Start driving in the wrong direction, so the guy helps me out and tells me where to go. Trying to save time, trying to zip along as I can. This is a tough gate right here. They basically took a big vertical ledge and then they put the gate so you had to drive through it super sideways with your rig. I watched a few people do it before me, but I think my wheelbase is really what killed me here. To get my rear tire high enough, it would have flipped my truck over. So I end up hitting the gate, end up bellied up, and just kind of throttle out of it to pull myself up and over. Trying to keep my speed high between gates, especially over terrain like this where I can just kind of cruise along. Really tight gate here. Uphill and on an off-camber climb. Hit both gates with both tires. Trying to work my way through this one. Back tire works its way closer to that cone. Clipped the cone. Man, just knocking gates down left and right, which is not the point of this game. So had a pretty rough first run, and we're already off to a pretty rough start on course number 2. Now, I think that I drove in the wrong spot here. I think I was supposed to end up where he was standing to start with. So I'm trying to back down into this gate, which ends up working out pretty well for me. Just have to get the truck set up basically where I need it to go.
I would appreciate that.
Again, long wheelbase working against me. Really hard to get this rig pointed in the direction I'm trying to go. Now the reason I want to back down a hill is because the center of gravity in most RCs, they're very front end weight biased. So they have more weight in the front than they do in the rear. So to drive down a steep hill nose first, they like to flip over forward. If you back down the hill, it kind of keeps the front end planted. And here I roll down another big climb again. So side hilling is not strong suit on this Gladiator. It's a heavy rig. I'm just trying to work my way through this course. Trying to navigate this rock pile without falling off again. And I decide I'm going to climb downhill to get a better view at what I'm trying to do here. So gate number 5 on the right is already done. I just have to navigate my way up towards the top. And wow, I actually cleared a gate. Isn't that amazing? Of course, I rolled before I made that one, so it basically killed my points for actually making that gate. So now we got to zip along. I was a little confused on where to go. You end up turning right and going down between this little rock. And the gate is hard left out of this. But instead of trying to side hill, because I've learned that my Jeep does not like side hilling at this point, I drive down to the bottom, flip around, and drive back uphill. Pretty aggressive forward and reverse here, but just trying to save time. It's a sandy climb back up, so gotta get Spottle happy there. Probably should have swung it a little bit wider to bring it around. That front left tire is starting to climb pretty high on that wall, which is tipping me over sideways pretty hard, but I did clear that gate. So got through one without flipping over, actually made some good points there. It's negative points every time you drive through a gate clean. If you roll over or have to reposition your truck, they add points, and it's like golf. You want the lowest points possible. Right there, my bumper got stuck on a little ledge as I was backing up and turning, and it actually helped pivot my truck right around, so that worked out pretty well. That gate was a little wider than most, cleared that no problem. Drive downhill right into an uphill. Snake my front end through there. Trying to climb before my tires slip and move. And I barely squeezed through. I ended up getting through gate 9 pretty clean. Pretty happy on that one. Now gate 10, this is a really tough little ledge. It's extremely off camber, really tough to do, but I'm running out of time. And basically I just need to kill the gate to finish the course. And so I try and get it on the side hill, get set up on the ledge here. The whole time the truck's trying to slide downhill. Watch that back tire, it slips off the ledge. The whole time the truck just basically wants to slide and straighten up to go uphill. It's the only way it's making any progress here. Almost tipped over right there. End up just deciding to drive up top, back up, hit the gate, tried to drive forward, killed the gate, end the course. That was my time. Alright, so that was course run 1 and 2 with my Axial Gladiator. Obviously, I had a pretty rough day out there. I was not correctly equipped or prepared to run the course with the vehicle setups that I had. They were both on Capra axles, they both had wheel spacers, and I have to run the 4.75 outside diameter. So like that is the width of the vehicle I had that I brought with me. I didn't have any other choice but to run one of those two. I ran the Gladiator just to try and keep it more competitive to everyone else. I definitely should have stuck with a Capra because that's what I went out and practiced with. The wheelbase is a little bit shorter, as well as the center of gravity is way better on that Capra. I probably would have had a lot better performance if I had just driven the Capra like I originally planned on. Live and learn, see how things go. Obviously, it was still a ton of fun to get out there and drive with everybody. Course number 1, because I didn't finish, they added 30 points to my score. I ended up with a score of around 65. And then I believe on course number 2, I ended up with a score of about 10. So altogether, I think my score was like 75 or something. The top guys, they were like negative 30 points. So I was way behind. I probably ended up losing the competition. I may have been the last place guy here. But had a ton of fun, just brought the wrong vehicle, wrong setup. Next time, I'm going to be sure to have the correct vehicle and setup that I need to get these courses done. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of course 1 and 2 with my Axial Gladiator Scx10III on capper axles. I'm going to link everything that I've upgraded this truck with down below. Definitely drop a comment what you guys think. Let me know if you've been to an RC crawler competition before, and let me know if you want to continue seeing the competition videos like this. I greatly appreciate your time. We will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.